Kiviranta, 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 Kiviranta.
Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche post-game show as the Avs win 5-2 over the Seattle Kraken, backed up by a Joel Kiviranta hat trick. Biggie, Rudo coming to you live. I think the Avs played pretty darn well in this game. So I think there's a lot of positives to take out of this one. Really a team on a winning streak finally, a team that it felt like played more to their strengths than they have a lot as of late, even if they have been winning. Got to feel pretty good about the Avs right now, no?
Absolutely. I mean, I think not just we, but a lot of people were talking about goaltending, and the Avs weren't getting it for the most part of the season. And now I think you're seeing, what goaltending can do. And was Blackwood busy tonight? No. Did he make the ones he had to make, especially in the third? Yes. And those are the ones that you got to make. Power play starting to click. Injuries will, again, knock on wood, you're going to get a few people back. You know what I mean? So your lineup is going to get a little bit stronger, a little bit, just think of guys like, Wood and Manson, a little bit of sandpaper, right? They're missing a little bit of that. And somehow they have it. It's just not dressed. I like the way they're playing right now. I like the way that the schedule's laying out for them on the second half. And yes, the Avalanche are a good team. And I think that right now they are showing, especially when they start on time. You look at no further than tonight. You knew they were going to win the game just by that first period. They were dominant. They were the better team, and they just, of course, they got tight. They even, fell behind when you think about it. But I don't think that any one of us or anyone on the chat was ever worried tonight that they weren't going to come out on top tonight.
Yeah, they look good tonight. I wanted to start with that goaltending conversation because I thought tonight was maybe a little bit more normal of what a goaltender can expect out of a Colorado Avalanche game. Through the first couple of games, Blackwood in Colorado, he was facing a pretty good number of shots. This was a tired Avs team that was giving up a good bit. Tonight, he gets the sub-20 shots against performance, essentially. The Colorado Avalanche giving up very little, as they often do when they're playing well. Yes, he ends up giving up 2 goals on 7 shots. Maybe you don't love the second one straight off of a face-off. Looked a little bit unprepared. But then he holds them to 2 or less at the end of the night. He makes all the saves he needs to make to keep them to 2 or less, including a couple of big ones in the third period. Is that even more confidence in Blackwood to know that he can do that in a game like this?
100%. I said it on Twitter there after, was it the first period? After the first. Saying I think he went 16, 17 minutes without a shot. The first one, guys get, puck watching. I don't remember. I think it was Mikko and G and guys like that. But tough to, again, no communication there. But it's a big breakdown. I'm not going to say any differently. If it was Georgiev, remember I used to say, yeah, there's a breakdown, but he didn't make the save. Where? Blackwood doesn't make the save there. I'm not saying he's weak. I'm saying he doesn't make the save. It's basically the only shot of the period, which is tough, because you're not ready. But that's what you were just talking about. Playing goalie for the Avalanche, you're going to see games like that. And I think that was a good test for him, because then it's like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, all right, I didn't make the save, He gets that same shot, by the way, in the second period. He makes the save. That was a big save. And then, and then on the second one, I was just with my son there, like watching the game, and I'm saying, I don't like it. And, you know what I mean? And again, when you see the replay, he shoots through, Kako, he shoots through the linesman, through everything. And I'm like, I don't like it. He's not tight. He's not like, And then, he's like, well, it's hard to fault. He doesn't expect the shot because the shot comes from behind the play. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I know, but you got to expect everything all the time. He goes, no, I know, but when you're a goalie, he's like, you're expecting the shot. So you're like, but he goes, this one, he doesn't even know there's a shot. So I was like, yeah, whatever. At the end of the day, you can argue that I didn't like it, you didn't like it. The goalie union, he's like, well, defending everything. But like you say all the time, it's 2 or less. After that, then, all right, your bad luck play happened. It happened. You got to shut the door the rest of the way. And that's what he does. That's what he did. He shut the door the rest of the way, including a couple tough ones. And, that was good for him, I think, to get a little bit of both, in the sense that the last, times he was in there was a more shot volume. And we all know he's really good at that. You're the one that said it at the start of the year. And I started watching it, and I was like, yeah, Rudo's right. Where tonight it was more like, I don't want to use the word typical, because if that's the word, then they're not going to lose many games. But it was
25
more
shots
typical.
might be more typical, yeah.
Yeah, this was a little bit loud, but it does happen a lot, as we know with the Avalanche. They're a good possession, puck possession team, and they don't give up a lot. So that was a good test for him. I thought it was great, and I think he's going to go on a break right now, like everybody else, feeling pretty good about his game.
Yeah, I feel great about it, to be honest. He didn't make the 3 stars tonight, as they normally do, but your goalies continue to do the job, even if it. I guess what's impressive about it is, you give up 2 goals pretty early, but the second one, the Avs are trailing in the second period. We're not used to the feeling of the goalie, even if it wasn't his mistakes, you're down in the game and your goalie picks it back up and doesn't fall apart. The opposite, in fact, he locks it down. So it just makes the Avs' life so much easier to be getting that from your guy in net. And not that the Avs didn't play well. I mean, honestly, this is the most complete game I think the Colorado Avalanche have played in a while, even if it was close at the end of the game. Put it all together, that's a team that, especially the first period and the second period, outside of maybe the first 5 minutes, that's really darn good hockey from the Avs.
Yeah, and we talked about the blue lines before the game, especially when you're tired, and you got 2 tired teams there. Obviously, the Avs with a lot more legs than the other team, that's for sure. Again, that was the double bang for Seattle, in the sense that it was the 3 and 4 like the Avs, but it was also the Sega Baba. And then you could tell that the Avalanche took advantage of that. And then, look no further than, Ross is the one on that first goal that, has a poor play at the blue line, and which leads to, it's funny, it doesn't matter if it's U8s or 12U hockey or Bantam hockey, NHL, American League, like you do those things, the puck's in your net. And then, the Seattle Kraken was in on the McKinnon goal, which that was a big no-no. Not McKinnon, but Natushian. That was a big no-no. They kind of do the same thing, throw the puck backwards right there. You got to know who you're playing against. And then Mac was a man on a mission there. And then, it goes all the way. And that's the big no-no, because it's 11 seconds after, they had taken the lead. They felt like they had a little bit of jump there in the second period. I felt the Kraken was flying a little bit to start the period. You're like, whoa, where's that coming from? You know what I mean? And I think it was more like, okay, we got our butts whipped in the first period, but the score was 1-1. We said it before the game, even or better, right? Even or better. On the road for the Kraken is a win. And all of a sudden you give up 11 seconds, a shift after a goal, 11 seconds later, that's on you. That's a pure no-no. And then after that, the Avs never really looked back, you know what I mean? And it was kind of fun to see how they managed the game. You're going to make a few mistakes, like I said, they did.
Of course.
But other than that, it was more than it was more than the Seattle Kraken kind of slipping, in a sense that, gave the Avalanche a few gifts, and the Avalanche just jumped on them and absolutely just capitalized and never looked back and just took control of that game.
I want to go back to the first goals for each team. First, the Avs are able to capitalize on a power play. Their special teams continue to be good. 1 for 4, not amazing, but certainly better than the stretch they had been on before the last handful of games. And good, great, awesome. It's good stuff from Cale McCarr, especially, who we'll talk about later. You kind of mentioned the Kraken's first goal with Colton. Look, I think this is a situation where the way you like to put it, Eric, you understand the situation you're in. You're against a Kraken team that's extremely tired. You're in a situation where at the time they're up 1-0 in the game. Make them go skate for it. Just get pucks in deep. One of your favorite phrases. If you throw a puck in behind the net there, that play never happens. And I know there's bad coverage on the backside of it. And sure. But at very least, you got to check because the lines are changing and Colton does not recognize the situation he's in and drops it to nobody.
I think he looks back, and to be honest with you, because I look back at it, I was like, a lot of times the opposition will call for it. Hey, sure, Rusty, you know what I mean? Like you try to figure out a nickname that if you don't know him, like, oh, he goes by Rusty or whatever, and then you see guys, and so that's why you really got to know your teammates. You got to know the voices. You got to know it. But I do believe on this one, the linesman's right there. He's got his back against the glass. I do think that he kind of like sees something. Yeah. He thinks that's a teammate right there, which I mean doesn't make it right, you know. But that was a tough play there. And again, there's a reason we talked about the blue lines when you're tired. I don't know why it makes it even worse, makes it even more flagrant. But again, you're going back there. Thank God the Avs were up 1-0, like you said, because of the power play. And then there's a reason we always talk about on a back-to-back, do not give the other team, power plays or a reason to feel good about their game. And that's exactly what the Kraken did. They took multiple penalties, and the Avalanche took advantage of it, felt good. The McKinnons, the Makars of the world touched the puck, and then all of a sudden they were like, okay, I'm on my game tonight. And you could tell that the guys were flying. And again, you get 3 power plays the first 10, 12 minutes. That's going to do that for you, especially with some skilled players.
Not to take anything away from the Avs. I think they did a great job, 1, creating calls, and 2, not taking calls themselves in the game, just the 1 penalty against. Yep. Also, good luck is a thing. The refs' poor officiating went the Avs' way tonight, I think.
Yeah.
To be fair, the 1 penalty they did take was completely made up. Sam Girard did not trip that guy at all. No. That was not a penalty. But you knew one was coming back the other way when the Avs have had 4 and the Kraken had 0. So it is what it is. And credit to the Avs penalty kill for killing that in a 1-goal game. Huge kill for them as they were able to pull away with the empty net after that. So it was a bit of a weird one from the reffing perspective. But ultimately, when the Avs are at their best, the effects of the game almost don't matter, right? When they play their best hockey, they can beat anyone regardless of circumstance.
Yeah, and somebody said it in pregame chat. They're good teams find a way to win when it's not perfect. I'm talking about maybe the last game, but like you said, or the last couple games, it wasn't perfect, but they found a way to win. Where tonight, it looked more like perfection. You know what I mean? Like you just said, it's kind of hard to play a lot better than that. And you got to fight sometimes officiating. Sometimes you got to fight bad luck. You got to fight bad calls. You got to fight a goalie taking everything away from you. You know what I mean? And you just can't get frustrated. And I think that the Avalanche do have that. I think they can play any type of game you want. Maybe besides like we said, the sandpaper type of thing, a little bit missing a little bit of that. But that's okay. It hasn't hurt them. And but we all know on down the stretch there, they're going to make sure to add that. And like we just said, they do have that on their roster, just not in their lineup. Like guys like Wood and Manson, and we all know that somewhere somehow. Hopefully, with Woody, he will be back. We all know Manson will be back here at some point. But once you start adding a little bit of that, it's hard to fault any holes in the lineup because it's kind of hard to find.
Well, you know who lived well today, Eric?
Well, a lot of people.
I'm sure a lot of people, but Joel Kiviranta especially lived well. Make sure you're getting yourself to live well. Maybe you can get a hat trick of marijuana at Live Well. Who's to say? Go to livewell.com if you want to order online, but there are 25 different locations here in Colorado, and all Live Well wants to do is give everybody access to cannabis so that you get to live well too. Check out one of their locations. They have all the products you need, whether it be flower, joints, topicals, gummies, you name it. They've got everything under the sun, and their experienced staff will be able to walk you through any product you might be interested in. So again, go check them out, livewell.com, to order for pickup in stores. And when you go in store, be sure to mention code DNVR25 to get 25% off any item that isn't already on sale even. Get a great deal at Live Well today. Just go out there and live well. Once you're all hooked up at Live Well, make sure you're also going and checking out the best cell provider out there with Verizon. Eric, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. Go get with Verizon today, and you will get a $200 Verizon e-gift card when you sign up for select unlimited and unlimited plus plans with a new phone. They give you the great 5G network that works just about everywhere, whether you're calling your mom or you're streaming along in a traffic jam. Verizon has you covered. And they also provide you Verizon Insider Access, which gets you into just about any sporting event or concert or any other ticketed event that you want to go to. So be sure you're checking out with Verizon today. And when you do sign up for Verizon, they'll even give you deals on trading in your old phone to pick up a new one. So do that and get yourself the $200 e-gift card, which will be sent within 8 weeks, requiring device payment purchase, minimum retail price of $799.99, poured in with new smartphone line on postpaid Unlimited Plus or Unlimited Ultimate plan required. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast here. We had a question from Stan in the chat who said, hey, you guys know what's up with Malinski at the end of the game? Seems like Beds had him on the bench for the last 5 minutes, except for the last touch-up. He in the doghouse definitely got put in the doghouse. He gave up a clean breakaway on a block shot that he didn't cover back for effectively about halfway through the third, I want to say. Did not play much after that because, in a one-goal game, if you do that, not surprising that you find the pine.
Yeah, and maybe sometimes it's what I'll say is I think Bednar's pretty good. Prater and Ray, as a coaching staff, those guys are pretty good at giving players the benefit of the doubt and not making them feel that you make a mistake and you won't play. I think this probably stems from a couple things. Sometimes you go back 1 or 2 or 3 games where there's discussions on some types of things that you don't want a particular player, for example, like Sam tonight, and don't do this, and we don't want you to go gain the middle here, or instead do this, and it sounded like Sam kind of fell into a little bit of that trap there, and we don't know. Again, is he not feeling good? Is he, who knows? Sometimes then you'll pull the reins back on a guy like that, but the only thing you can do as a coach when someone's not listening to obviously the directives you're given is to take away. The only thing is ice time. I mean, that's it. To make you understand what they're trying to tell you. Or sometimes you just, they feel that you're just too much of a high liability, which usually Sam is not. And then, and they just felt that for some reason in those few minutes, they're like, you know what? He doesn't have it right now. We don't feel comfortable. We're going to go with the other guys that are around. And we have a 4-day break here coming up. So it doesn't really matter. If Cale needs to play the last 13 minutes of the game, so be it. You know what I mean? Because he's going to have some turkey for 4 days and relax a little bit and, not worry about playing a game tomorrow night and manage his ice time.
Yep. Ultimately, Malinski was just too high event in this game to play late in a 1-goal game is the coaching decision there. And yes, there were some poor plays and some turnovers there. I don't think it was as bad as some people were saying tonight, but it definitely wasn't the normal Malinski that we've seen. He just didn't have a great night, is what it is. Bednar made a decision that ultimately worked because the Avs won the game. So hard to be too mad at that. Are 3 keys ready, Tiff, or we still need another minute?
We're ready.
Stars, you mean?
All right. Stars, yeah. Keys, stars. I need the Christmas break as much as anybody, buddy.
We need Kiviranta to score 3 goals for the Avs.
How did you know? Star number 3 on this one, I'm going with Nathan MacKinnon. And I don't think Nathan MacKinnon was an unbelievably good player tonight, but I cannot understate how huge creating that second goal was for the Colorado Avalanche. The goal goes in against Colorado off the faceoff. They're down 2-1. They trailed for exactly 11 seconds because Nathan MacKinnon comes out on that shift, says, I'm not being stopped. I refuse to get stopped. I'm not letting this happen tonight. He drives to the net. He doesn't ultimately score the goal, but he creates the rebound that Nichushkin's able to toss into a wide open net simply by going directly through a guy. That's the version of Nathan MacKinnon that strikes fear into the entire NHL.
Right there. For me, that's the DNVR play of the game, right? That's
Yep.
the biggest no-no that obviously Seattle commits, but I think 31 teams out of 31 would commit that mistake because it's Nathan MacKinnon, the best player in the National Hockey League. A bull in a china shop picking that thing there. He wasn't going to be denied, and I think this is where Val was very smart and just followed up to the net and, puts it kind of like last game there. Or was it the game before where Val is like, oh, he's just picking up the garbage. Well, guess what? That's a sign of a smart player knowing where to go, knowing where to sniff those loose pucks. And Val was just, aware that Nate was going to be not denied there. And he just kept going and kind of found the puck there and put it in. Nothing Decor can do. But, yeah, MacKinnon from the first shift or second shift of the game, you could tell on the screen he was flying. You don't need to be in the arena to know that. That's why I like TV games, that's why I like the video guy in a coaching staff's input because, Brett is for the Avalanche. And like I used to tell you guys about Joe Sakic coming in all the time, saying, am I flying through the screen? Yeah, you're flying. And tonight, Nate was flying through the screen. There was no denying it. It was like, if you're drinking something, you're like, whoa, what's going on here? Because you see this thing, it's like it's a rocket ship flying through the screen. And he was awesome. I felt that he was like, we're not losing this game tonight. And I think that's a great choice there for third star of the night.
Yep, I really like Mikko Rantanen's game too, to be honest, but we only have room for 3 stars. And Mikko Rantanen was not as good as our second star in Cale Makar, who ends with a 3-point night, including the first goal of the game on the power play, a key breakout assist on the game-winning goal, and then he picks up an extra one on the empty netter too. But I think it's interesting because a lot of people like to have a conversation about production when it comes to the power play, and they're like, oh, well, Cale Makar gets all these cheap points on the power play. Not exactly, right? The Avs had just gone through a stretch where their power play was brutally bad, and it feels almost like the only reason their power play is finding any success is because Cale Makar is dragging it to it at times. So he scores the goal on the power play tonight. It's more than any other player, and don't get me wrong, I believe Nathan MacKinnon is one of the best players, if not the best players in the world. But the weight of this Avalanche season feels like it's being lifted up more by Cale Makar's shoulders than it does Nathan MacKinnon's, in my opinion.
If you're a defenseman or forward, and how can I say that? If you're a defenseman or forward, and you're going to rack up a lot of points, the one thing you got to look at is he on the power play or not? Because you're not going to be at the top of the league if you're a third, fourth liner that doesn't touch the ice on the power play. So power play and picking up points on the power play is part of your makeup as a player. So yeah, Cale Makar for me is one of the best power play guys in the National Hockey League. So that goes with it. But he was awesome tonight. We talked in pregame that he's going to get 3 goals. He got 3 points. So man, whatever, same thing. You know what I mean? Yep. So we just had the wrong guy in Kiviranta, which again, can you imagine picking that one out tonight? Like, oh, Kiviranta hat trick. That would have been like,
he had 2 goals the other night. I guess we should have known.
I know. He's a streaky guy. He's going to go dormant. We love him, but he's going to go dormant for 15, 16. But that's awesome. It's awesome that he's, again, it's fun to see guys that do the right things. He plays the right way. He's been molded by Bednar the last couple of years and Ray, and I'm not going to take anything away from the rest of the coaching staff to be a reliable guy and a guy that can depend and trust on. And he's reaping the benefits of it right now. And then all of a sudden he's on the shift there with MacKinnon, the Finnish Mafia. Not MacKinnon, but Rantanen. And I was really getting mad at Mikko there. Like on a 2-on-1, you get a 55-goal score, shoot the puck, and then he just saucers it to again the plug. I mean, it's
Yep.
a good. It's nothing wrong with calling someone a plug. That's a good plug. Kiviranta is a good plug in the lineup. And all of a sudden he just rips it like a 55-goal score. That was awesome. It was a great play. It was awesome to watch. But yeah, Cale Makar was absolutely awesome tonight, and it was fun to watch. And again, when you score in the power play in the first period early in the game like that, the Avalanche never really look back usually.
It got a little squirrely for a second in the second there, but they made it work. We
11
do have
seconds.
audio from Cale Makar in the locker room after this one, so let's hear from him.
Season series. How big was this one for you guys? 3 in a row?
Yeah, really big. I think we challenged ourselves as a group, coaching staff down, that we want to be really good this last 3, 4, 5 games here, and obviously we dropped a couple starting with Utah there, but felt like we really picked it up with the last 3, and for us to go into the break like that, I think it's a good high note, but we still got a lot of work to do, especially the second half.
And how about the power play? 3 straight games now with power play goals.
Yeah, again, I think it's just a shift in mentality. Sometimes we just go through the motions and you get stuck in that grab, or in that loop, and I think for us right now, it's just we got that attack mentality, and everybody's shooting and everybody's working it around. There's nobody just holding on to it. So when guys do that and guys fill spots, it's really fun to be out there.
Are you looking forward to the holiday break, having 4 days off, or do you kind of wish you didn't have that much time off to keep the momentum going?
I think it's a needed break. Obviously, we still have a couple guys with injuries that we want to get back. So to gain a couple days here will be huge for us, and obviously a lot of sickness on the team too. So I think this break comes at a good time for us. Obviously, everybody's got to stay dialed right over the break, but I've never been here to have that extra day. Usually we play on the 23rd or 23rd. So it's nice.
Going back to the power play, he didn't get an assist on the play, but just having Val parked in front of the crease the way he does, just what does that do for you guys?
I mean, as a D-man, it's so hard to move big bodies like that. And even, I don't know who was beside him, probably Lexiak or something like that. But when he plants himself in front of the net, it's fun for me at least, because I can try and shoot it at him or shoot it around because he's got such a good stick too. So that one was I was definitely shooting for his stick, but he was such a good screen that obviously it was just there. So yeah.
He's got 4 goals in the last 4 games. What does it say that with him shifting lines, that his play is just kind of not really improved so much, but just that consistency.
Yeah, I think anybody you put Val with, he's always an attack mentality. And to put him with a guy like Mikko or Nate, even Lucky for that matter, they get the puck to each other so well, and I think he's a guy that can get the puck and then he can also put in the net too. So he's a really hard-working guy, so another guy that you'd love to see get rewarded for game to game.
How big was that goal? They tie it 11 seconds later. He goes down and finishes.
That was an incredible goal. Obviously, Val finishes that one, but unreal play by Nate. Weaving through the D. Val, great kick out on the wall to start it off, and then Nate driving through the D and getting it on net to even start with. So I think that all started with him there, and Val made a really good play to finish the goal.
Thanks, Cale.
Thanks, guys.
Nothing but love from the teammates from Makar as usual. And then the number 1 star. Come on, you all know who we're gonna pick. It is
Kiviranta, Kiviranta, Kiviranta.
Eric. I don't know that you're allowed to call him a plug anymore, because as of tonight, Kiviranta officially passes Eric Lacroix on the all-time hat tricks leaderboard with 2.
Come on, he did. I got 1. He beat me. No, as an Avalanche, he only has 1. We're talking.
That's true. As an Av, only 1.
Yeah. In an Avalanche game, he has 2, but
but only 1 with the Avs.
I don't know. When I say a plug, it's all the love in the world, because usually your bottom 6 are all plugs. That's a good term, a plumber, a plug, whatever you want to call that. They're certainly not superstars, but it's fun to see a guy like that get rewarded. I don't know. He had some jump tonight, even when he threw a bounce at from the far side. I don't remember if it was shorthanded or not, but he threw a little
in midair. Yeah, he whacked out in midair. Yeah.
No. Even in his own end, he threw a shot from his own end at a bad bounce on Decor, and then the rebound came out, and he almost
he chased it down.
Put the rebound. Yeah. It's just one of those nights. Like he just, again, Look no further than, forget about the empty net, but look no further than when he goes 2-on-1 with the Godfather, right, Rantanen of the Finnish Mafia.
Yeah, the Finnish Mafia for sure.
All of a sudden, he's just looking him down. He's ready with his trigger, and then Rantanen's like, "Yeah, right, I'll just give it to my boy." You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if it was a Canadian and American or whatever, if he would have passed that. I'm just kidding. We're gonna create some four nations tension right now, but no, he gives it to him, and what a shot that was! Holy crap, a whole lot. That was a shot. It was awesome, and again, that's the game-winning goal. So yeah, he's been great. You want to win games. You want to win 3 out of 4. You want to win, streaking or whatever you want to call that. Your plugs, your bottom of the lineup have to come alive. And Kelly, Kiviranta, LOC, guys like that have played real well lately. And there's a reason why the Avs, again, with the goaltending and the top end talent that they have put it all together. And they're stringing some wins, even though they've been sick and the schedule is absolutely brutal.
Well, if you want to avoid getting yelled at by the other team, Ana Minule Keko apparently is how you say "give me the puck" in Finnish. So
no,
I'm sure my accent was perfect too. Don't double check me on that.
Sounded good. Sounded good.
Look, do 2 of the goals come into empty nets? Yes. Is it a pretty easy hat trick in that regard? For sure. But one, Kiviranta's out there with an empty net, especially the second goal with a 1-goal lead. This is a guy you're trusting to protect the lead and the guy that ultimately puts it in the net to secure the win. The hat trick goal is a bonus, sure, whatever. But also, the one he scores against a goalie ends up being the game-winning goal, even if it is a great play by Mikko. Still, he's the guy finishing that, like Eric was saying. Look at some of the other guys tonight. Look at the other portion of the Finnish Mafia. Arturi Lehkonen had 2 grade A chances tonight that he failed to score on. Kiviranta's the one that finished.
And the funniest part is, at finish, I get it, no pun intended. But if you look back at last game, I'm still convinced that, there was a few icings at the end of the game, and I still, if it wasn't a few icings, he probably might have gone out there and got that third one. You know what I mean? Then he would have 2 hat tricks in a row, which, again, that would be absolutely crazy when you think about it. But, he's a smart player. He's got the trust of the coaching staff, and there's a reason you're out there when the goalie's out, and there's a reason that you are trusted to go and do the right plays differently a little bit than what I talked about yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever it was, about best players being on the ice like Rand, like McKinnon, or to put the puck in the empty net. But this is a guy they trust, and that's why he's out there.
I do want to be realistic here, and look, Kiviranta's been great. Jared Bednar loves him. He's earned a little bit more with his ability, but also, just for reality's sake, he's shooting 22% right now. He's not going to continue scoring at this rate that he has so far in the season. It's just not realistic. With that being said, if he can continue to find ways to contribute offensively by picking up points here and there, Kiviranta's on pace for a 30-point, probably not quite a 30-point season, but close to a 30-point season, which would blow his all times out of the way. In fact, as of the 3 goals tonight, he already has set a career high in points this season. So every point he gets is a new career high for him.
Yeah, and again, they're nice stories. They're guys that, he came in last year with some uncertainty, no contract, and was told to go down the highway there to the Eagles, and obviously earned a contract shortly after, and then a call up, and never went back to the American League, and took advantage of situation. I think Bednar said it didn't start like in the playoffs. It started more like, after Christmas, where they really started, he said Ray did a lot of video with them, or if I'm not mistaken, and or even Brett in the video. I don't know. I don't want to take or give credit to, or forget someone, but, ultimately, Kiviranta's the guy that put in the work and was, really willing to do what he needed to do. At the end of the day, it's your career's over, so to speak. You had no contract, you had nothing, and then this is where you're at. You want to play, and this is a damn good team. You want to play? This is how we're expecting you to do. Kudos to him. He said, all right, I'm going to go do what you want me to do. And he's reaping the benefits of it. So it's awesome.
I do want to touch on that a little bit more, but we are late for our break. So let's hit that first. We are, of course, brought to you by Bet365 on the post game, and you can sign up for Bet365 today with code DNVR365 to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5 on anything. I'm just saying that 2 of my 3 bets hit in this hockey game. So.
What were they again? First 10 minutes, right?
Yep. No goal in the first 10 minutes. Cale Makar waited until 10:05 to score. I appreciate that, Cale. And then my other bet was a Mikko Rantanen power play point, which also happened on that one. So not bad. Cashing out on Bet365. Make sure you're doing that too, whether it's hockey, basketball, football, or otherwise. You can bet on it all with Bet365 and that DNVR365 code. When you do bet, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. And then when you win a little bit of money with Bet365, get on over Game Time Picks option, which will give you the best tickets available. It'll filter out all the junk. Just put in your parameters and it'll find you the best tickets for the best prices for your event, whether that is an Avs game or any sporting event in the country or even concerts, theaters, and movies. Game Time has tickets for everything and they guarantee you the best price. So join over 15 million people that use Game Time today to get their tickets, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase when you use code DNVR. What time is it? It's game time. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Wanted to touch on one more thing with Kiviranta. I think you have to give the Colorado Avalanche organization, whether that's Bednar or McFarland or Sakic or whoever you want to credit with it, a lot of credit for guys like Joel Kiviranta. You mentioned it. The Avs brought this guy in on an AHL contract, and he's now a critical contributor to the Avs depth production. And this is not the first story that has gone like this for the Colorado Avalanche. Yes, they have had some misses like the Tomas Tatars and some other guys, Ryan Johansson, whatever. Every team misses sometimes, but the Avs have consistently found guys like a Joel Kiviranta, like a Val Nichushkin. When he brought in, he was one step from leaving the league too. Someone like Nick Albe-Kubel, who was part of the Avs Stanley Cup run, was a guy on waivers. The Avs have so often found ways to find these players and get quality NHL players out of them. It's one of the most impressive things that the Avs do, in my opinion. I'm not saying they're perfect. I'm the first guy who will tell you I don't think the Avs do a great job of developing their prospects, but their pro scouting staff has to be some of the best in the league.
Absolutely. That's pro scouting right there. You just said it. That's awesome. And the boys work hard at it. The guys work hard at it. I mean, it's you got to take pride. You got to know what your team needs. You have to have a pulse on your team, and I think that's where Chris is such a hard worker with his staff. And I think that even though he is in the big chair, he is in the big seat, one of 32 in the world, he still works at his craft. You know what I mean? Which is pro scouting, which is trying to figure out what works. And even add a couple more names, like, again, different situations, but Rodriguez, Druin, you know what I mean? Guys like that, obviously a little bit of a higher profile, but they're guys that come in the Avalanche system knowing that they're betting on themselves, so to speak. It doesn't matter if you're like Druin last year or Kiviranta. It's like, this is a good fit for me. Yeah, there's been, like you said, a few misses, but if you don't swing, you can't miss, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you harp on the guys that it worked for, and the other ones, it's like, well, too bad it didn't work because it can't work for everybody. But yeah, you're bang on. Pro scouting works hard, and you go and get, and it's a question of fit, and it tells you that the Avalanche core guys make people around them better, and that's why they're special. That's why you can have a decade or a dozen years of success like Avalanche 1.0, because those guys are special. They are absolutely the cream of the cream. The cream always rises to the top. and for the Avalanche, it makes everyone around them better. It's fun to watch.
Thank you, chat, for 100 likes. Unfortunately, I don't have any hard alcohol in my house at the moment, so I'm going to have to go restock. I promise I'll do a shot for you off air when I go get some, but we're a little dry right now. But thank you for the 100 likes. We appreciate it a ton. Someone in chat was asking about Middlestat. It looks like James. Yeah, it is what it is. He's got to start shooting the puck a little bit more. I don't think it's quite as bad as some people are making it out to be. He's still being able to find ways to get some production in, especially he was in that big slump and you felt like, yeah, it needs to be better. But since then, it's improved a little bit. In his last 10, he has 5 points, I think, which is not great. You'd like that to be more like 7 in his last 10, but you're getting by. If a downswing, if you feel like he has more to give, is 5 points in his last 10, you're okay with that.
Yeah. Do I think he's going to have to step it up? Yes, I do, especially down the stretch, especially in the playoffs. You're going to need a little bit more production. Now, I mean, just look no further than his shot attempts or his shots on net. I mean, it's just not. I know he's not a shooter. I get that. But it's very, very low in the sense that it's too low. The league is such a tough league to create. I know he can create. I think everyone knows he can create. I think everybody on the opposition expects him to try to create and not shoot. So right away, he's given 50% of his mental choice of what he's going to do by never shooting. So it's like it makes him a little easier to defend against. I do believe if he starts, and he does have a good shot, and then like we talk about it all the time, you watch at practice and morning skate, and he shoots almost like a golfer with his hands almost close to one another. I've never seen anything like it. And as a goaltender, it's kind of hard to see because you don't think he's going to get it off, and he does. He just needs to shoot a little more in my book. And once you do that, it creates broken plays. He's got the wingers to go and jump and pounce on pucks and to create second and third and fourth opportunities. It's one of those seasons where I think he's learning on a full scale, full year, how to play behind Nathan MacKinnon, how to be effective. Getting some cookies on the power play, and then getting some cookies not on the power play sometimes, you know what I mean, where all of a sudden you have to watch and you let other guys get on the power play. We all know that usually the Avs' first power play eats up the full 2 minutes, so if you're not on it, then it's a little bit harder to get some cookies. So I'm not worried about him, but yes, I agree that something's going to need to change in a sense that, for him to start producing a little bit. Like I said, they're getting some Kivirantas and Parker Kellys, and, the guys below him are starting to produce right now. And, they're not going to produce for 40 games in a row. That is just not it. That's why you're a plug. Like I said, with all the respect in the world to the word plug, right? And then, but Middlestat needs, and again, it goes with your salary too. That means that you are a more skilled player, and it comes with it. I think he's just learning. I think he's trying to figure out, how to do it, what he is, and again, different expectations than Buffalo. I'm not here to bash on Buffalo. We could do that another time, but I was about to sneeze there. But Buffalo, they different expectations, where this is different. And I think that he lived up to them in the playoffs last year. He got a taste of it. I think he was really good in the playoffs. I don't see anything different this year in the playoffs, but I just think that, he's going to want to make that step and take that step to make sure that he becomes a weapon and not someone we talk about right now if we're concerned or not. There's a big difference, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not too worried about it, to be honest, but he does need to start shooting the puck more. It's something that's got to happen. He has less than one shot a game over his last 8 games, I think. So need more there. But hey, you know what? I don't think it was that big of a problem on tonight, as the Avs offense was able to get it done. So that they don't have to nitpick everything every night. I guess I'll put it to you that way. Look, Eric, I guess I'm curious on your thoughts on this one.
Yeah.
You look at that third period. The Avs played it with a lead. They held their lead. Mission accomplished. We've seen the Avs play with leads maybe a little bit passively, a little bit safe at times in the third period, and ultimately it's worked. Are you confident in them playing that way and being able to lock down 1-goal leads, or do you want to see them have a little bit more killer instinct before the empty net?
Yeah, I agree with you. I like when you're more on your toes than on your heels. I'm gonna God, I hate saying it because I've been saying it a lot the last few shows, and I do believe that the schedule, is a factor where I think guys are they're just spent, they're just out of gas, and I think that
It's true.
you know what I mean. It's just like I think you want to go, and then you're like, okay, I don't want to be the guy that's not. Even though, like, maybe if you go on your toes and let's call a spade a spade. The Kraken were a team ready to get beat. You know what I mean? So I don't. Again, like I said, I was never really worried. I don't think they were either. And I think it showed a little bit in like that style of closing out the game before, obviously, like you said, the empty nets. But yeah, I think they can wrap it up any way they want. Obviously, the record shows after 2 periods they are pretty deadly. So I think it comes with experience, and you have to be able to sustain a barrage of shots. You have to be able to play it any different way that the opposition's doing it. I think you have to adapt, and I think over that record of whatever the record is after 2 periods since last year or the year before, like they've been there, they know how to do it, and sometimes it's just different than others. And tonight, like you said, it was more like a passive way, instead of a killer way. Let's put it that way.
Fair enough. Hey, look, at the end of the day, I don't care how you win. If you win, mission accomplished, right? As much as I want it to look X way, Y way, Z way, if you can do it consistently, it's good enough for me.
Oh yeah, boy, oh boy. Like I said, it's too bad that Bet365, the money's not really good, after 2 periods. You know what I mean? Like the Avs are gonna, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
you know how it is, and but whatever on chat. Yes, he says my eyes are tired. Yeah, they are tired. It's been a long stretch for everybody. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of work that goes into this, and my eyes are tired. I need toothpicks to keep him up like this.
You're just to be fair, we had 2 games in a row where pods were ending at 2 a.m. your time, buddy. So
I've been in the East
I think
Coast
you have a
last
valid
few days, so,
excuse.
yeah. Oh yeah, I went to bed around 3 and I get up at 7, 6:30. So yeah, It is what it is. But hey, we love doing it. It's all good. But yeah, I can't hide it. That's why I don't drink and I don't whatever. I eat, but I've been very good lately. I've been very healthy. But 3 kids and everything. That's what happens when the morning calls. You got to get up and go.
Maybe avoid the 2 a.m. nights with our next sponsor. It's all about goals, isn't it? Make sure you have your goals in order for the upcoming 2025 year with Constant Contact. You can jump in with Constant Contact, and they have what it takes to help you meet whatever your goals might be faster. No matter how experienced you are with digital marketing, Constant Contact has the tools to make your marketing run smoother. Whatever type of marketing you might be looking for. You can also own the smartphone by adding texting to your marketing strategy. You can do email to every customer, and you can do a ton of other stuff too when you connect with over 2 billion people on social media with an all-in-one tool for posting and sharing. So it's time to put your go in your 2025 business goals with email, social, SMS, and customized marketing campaigns built for you in just a few clicks. Ready, set, go to constantcontact.com/allcity and start your free trial today. That's constantcontact.com/allcity to get your free trial with Constant Contact. And once your goals are all set up and you're ready to hit them, make sure you are also kicking back and relaxing. Once everything's done and in order, crack open an ice cold Coors Light and chill. Thanks to CoorsLight.com/DNVR, you don't even have to go get it. You can get it delivered right to your front door thanks to Instacart. Coors Light on your doorstep is maybe the best type of Coors Light. The mountains turn blue on the bottle or the can to let you know it's ice cold, chilled, and ready to drink. Always great for a Sunday night football, or maybe while you're kicking back and watching Monday night football too, or well, some of us need a beer when we have family around for the holidays. So whatever it might be, make sure you choose chill with Coors Light today. Of course, Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Please drink responsibly. Final period of the Avs, DNVR Avs even, podcast. Look, I don't know that you can feel a whole lot better about this team going into the holiday break right now. They've won 3 in a row. They're on a winning streak. It feels like this one was the best game they've played in a while, and they've proven they can find ways to win even when they're not at their best. So if you're doing that and you feel like the team has more in the tank, you know some guys are going to start getting healthier, whether that's a Josh Manson or a Jonathan Drouin or Miles Wood or otherwise. The goaltending has been spectacular since the trade. There's still kinks for sure. You look at some of the defensive breakdowns in this game and you would like to clean some of those up. But Eric, as you always say, there's always breakdowns every night. There's 2 teams on the ice.
Yeah. And that's why you know you need goaltending. And that's why they addressed what they did and not once but twice. Because they felt that they addressed a situation that was getting a little bit out of hand. But you're not perfect, and if you're not perfect, then your goalies have to be, so to speak, hot. They've certainly, those 2 guys have been hot the last couple weeks or whatever, 10 days, whatever it's been since they got there. And I think that's what they expect them to be. But for the most part, like you said, if you look at tonight, like you're under 20 shots on net. You know what I mean? So it's it makes it tough. It makes it tough compared to getting 40 shots for a goalie. It's hard. But you're not playing at your best and you win games. That's a sign of a good hockey team. I forgot somebody on chat said it yesterday. He's absolutely right, or 2 days ago. When you're winning games that you don't deserve to, and again, tonight that wasn't the case, but there's been a few lately on that because, it was your goaltending or it was your power play. Yeah, but those are all parts of a makeup of a team and the makeup of a hockey game. So if you do win those important parts of a game, then you have a big chance to win that game. So, the Avalanche have a solid core. Like I said, it might not be perfect, or just take Mikko, for example. I mean, he's on a 9-game or 10-game?
9, yeah.
9 now. Okay, perfect. It's and sometimes he doesn't have his best games, but then he's there for a big play, right? Because guys like that are special. Guys like that thrive with the puck on their stick, and they make the big play happen where, somebody that doesn't have that kind of talent, they panic a little bit more, so to speak, when they do have the puck on their stick and the game on their stick. I think Avalanche fans and the city of Denver and all of us and the teammates are so lucky to see those guys, because when they do have a puck, you're like, yeah, there you go, bingo, that's coming. You know what I mean? Like you knew that, like the Mikko to his buddy Kiviranta. Maybe Kiviranta, maybe he is the Godfather, and he was looking at him with big eyes like, are you kidding me, buddy? I'm the Godfather. You give me the puck. You know what I mean? But anyway, just look further in that play, and it's a high skill play, and the Avs have a lot of everything. Again, now you're talking about pro scouting. Now the pro scouting will shift towards a couple parts after Christmas. First part will be where you do have to have reports on free agents that are coming up around the league, obviously, for July 1st, but also, what's the need? And they'll have a meeting there as a staff. And what's the need going down towards the playoffs and the trade deadline? What are we looking for? What are we identifying? And damn well, like last year, they're going to go at it. And I thought last year they nailed the trade deadline. I think it didn't work out, so to speak, but I think they had a plan. They addressed it. They went after it. They executed it. And then, cross your fingers and you just hope that everything works out. It's not easy to win the Stanley Cup, or else 32 teams would win the Stanley Cup every year, and it'd be kind of a boring and weird summer as everybody's all excited and having parties and lifting the cup, but it doesn't exist. Last I checked, there's only one cup. So I think they're going to address it and they'll be ready to go, and I think they're going to do some damage.
I think you're right. We are winding down the show here, so let's get Jared Bednar's thoughts on that game, and then we'll get our final thoughts.
Hey guys, go ahead.
Keep it brief. No one's reading your stuff over the holidays.
Obviously, I mean, Kiviranta, 5 goals in 3 games. What have you kind of seen from him that's maybe kind of helped that jump from him recently?
Well, I think number one, it's their line. Really connected as a group. Extremely hard-working line. Defensively conscious. And like they're just finding ways to chip in off hard work, really, at the end of the day. But I do think the chemistry on that line is something that's been. It reminds me of some of the lines, fourth lines we had in the past. The year we won, that we could really rely on and play hard minutes against other teams' top guys, but then yet would still find a way to chip in. And they've been a difference maker for us. And the evolution of Kivi's game though goes back to early last year. He started really digging in on his game and trying to do more on the offensive side of it and be more comfortable with the puck and play with the puck more instead of just chip and chase all the time. He's still very responsible that way, but he started to spend a lot of time with Ray on video and trying to take his game to another level and be more effective and more impactful on the offensive side of it. And we saw the growth last year, second half, playoffs. And now I felt like this year it's kind of picked up right where he left off last year for the playoffs.
Because he hasn't had a lot of games in his recent times when he would have faced 17, 18 shots. Obviously, that's going to happen here every now and then. Just how important is it?
I hope so.
But just more so than it did in, but just how important is it for him to just only maybe give up 1 goal that he didn't like, as opposed to maybe 3 for him?
Well, I think the thing is just getting to know him for a brief period of time is he's got that attitude, that starter's attitude that, there's goals that have gone in on him already since we've been here that I'm like, yeah, no chance. And he immediately starts watching video and he feels like he should have had it. I was too deep here. I didn't read it fast enough there. He's really competitive and hard on himself. It's never anyone else's fault. He understands he's the last line of defense and he expects to stop every puck, So, but he doesn't get hard on himself when he doesn't, not that I've seen so far anyway. I'm sure he want that face-off one back tonight that slips through him. It's this quick shot, bang, bang. But at the end of the day, when you have that type of attitude and you're taking responsibility for every puck that goes in, regardless of what's happening in front of you, you're going to be in a good spot to improve and get better.
Last 10 games, this goal against Seattle was the 4th first period goal you guys have given up, and you guys are one of the highest in the NHL in terms of first period goals against. Is it as easy as we got 2 new goalies, or is there something more you guys are doing?
No, I think that has something to do with it, because if you look at some of the games we haven't been great in the first period, even since the goalie switch, they've just been playing really, really well. Anaheim first period, and there was one with Blackwood before that. They're just giving us a chance to find our legs sometimes, which is great. But I do think we're still an evolving team, right? I don't want to say everything's fixed. It's not. We have work to do. But we've been paying attention to our first periods for quite some time. Every day we get a good one, we'll point it out. I loved our first period tonight. I thought it was the best period we played. Could have been. I thought that lead, we could have stretched that lead out a little bit. But anyway, regardless, there's more to it. It's the confidence that the team has, and the 3 lines we put together are playing really well. We're chipping in some minutes from the 4th line here. That seems to be an evolving, process. It's different line mates every night, and lots of young guys and new guys, so they're still getting comfortable too, with each other anyway, and the system. So, there's more to it than just the goaltending, though. It's 1 goal game until the 2 empty netters. Are you happy overall with how your team played, with the lead in particular there? Yeah, I liked our third. We got away from our game a little bit in the second, but there was a couple shifts there where we got extended, gave up some scoring chances, gave up quite a bit of zone time. I think we could stay a little bit more aggressive. We were aggressive with our defending in the first period, in and out of our zone all the time, making really good plays with the puck, and then we got a little slower in our defending in the second, and I'd say our puck play wasn't as good. We were throwing it back to them too much, even though we were getting it out of the zone, back in the neutral zone. So they had more possession time, which I didn't really love. I think there was lots of plays to be made if we just skate a little bit and get our eyes up. But that a little bit of fatigue probably in that period from them putting it on us. And we knew there was going to be a push. We handled it good. We got some good saves. And then we came back in the third and had a better third.
Colleen, then Megan.
Val's had a goal consecutively in the last 4 games. Is there anything in his game that you've seen that's changed since you changed him to the top line? I mean, he's been successful since he's been.
Yeah, no, I just think, like, you know, coming back off his injury, the one thing is a little bit of his puck play in his hands. And I felt like he fought through that and caught a hot streak there and cooled off a little bit. Like, the thing about Val is, like, he's always going to be at, like, 85% of his game or better. Like, he's never really going to, like, I'm never really going to watch his game and be like, man, he was terrible tonight. You know, it just doesn't happen. Same thing with Lecky. You know, just on some nights they make more plays than others, and they get, just like anybody else, they get confidence and they start to make more plays and get more dangerous. And sometimes they go in and sometimes they don't. But he's been playing really good hockey for us, and as of late, he's come up really big with some timely goals.
Megan.
What were you looking for in mixing up the top 4 on the back?
Yeah, so when I split Mikko to put him with Mitty, to try and get a little bit more depth where we could roll those lines out a little bit differently against some of the teams that we just played. I like some of the matchups, being able to split them. I wanted to spark our top 6, number 1. If we're going to do that and we want Taser, Cale, and guys that can help both those lines create offense, you know, Malinski and Taze makes sense, and Gerard and Makar makes sense. So, you know, it doesn't have to be Cale and Gerard with Mac. They can be with Mitty and vice versa. They still have some D that with some poise and playmaking ability and able to sort of extend those own time and provide something to the McKinnon line and the Middlestead line.
Okay, thank you guys.
Yep, thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So one thing I wanted to touch on there is his comments about Blackwood, which are pretty interesting, right? I don't want to say it's telling, but there's a mentality that winners have and there's a mentality that winners lack. And based on what Bednar said there, it sure seems like Blackwood has a winner's mentality.
And that's what you want, because he thinks he can get any shot. And you love that. He's not blaming, he's not pointing the finger. He's basically saying, all right, I can stop every shot. How do I go about it? You know what I mean? And that's great. I love that. And I love the mentality. I love the attitude. And he's coming in guns blazing in a good way, not like trying to shoot his teammates or, oh, who made the turnover there and who didn't cover the guy? No, he's like, my job's to stop the puck. How do I stop it? And yeah, I was too deep there. I was too whatever. I didn't read the play right, and you know he feels he can stop every puck. I love it. I really like him. We've liked him for a while, but I really like the fit he's been with the Avalanche on all types of different games so far that he's played.
Eric, 10-second answer to that question in chat. Do you think we have all the pieces to win this year?
Yeah, I do. I think that obviously the question mark with 92 and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Sure. That will sort itself out there. We all know we're getting closer to that. And then I do believe that the goaltending's there. I do believe on the back end you might have to add another one. You're missing Josh, obviously, his physical presence. And, you know, Middleton's is brought some stuff here where, you know what I mean, that's probably why Middleton's playing, because Josh is not there. And Josh brings that physical element, that ruggedness. And I understand this game is all about skill and everything. We all know the Avs have skill, you know, so they're going to need to add a little bit of, you know, like last year, kind of at the deadline, you know, the Trennans and the Duames. And I thought, you know, it ended up not working out, but the thought was there. And I think that they're going to address and see what they need. But the beautiful thing that you have is now you have goaltending and then you have superstars. A lot of teams do not have superstars. The Avs have them. So it's very, very different way to look at things. You're looking at minor tweaks instead of major overhauls. So, yeah, I do believe that they're going to achieve what they feel is the best lineup they can to go in the playoffs.
I mean, I tell you this, that's a hard question, because if you do the thing, I guarantee you the 20 guys you dress for game 1 of the playoffs will not be the 20 guys you dress for the last one. it's brutal.
No,
So
yeah.
it's tough out there. We do have a couple of super chats to get to, and then we'll say goodbye. $14 from Drew, who says, so does AJ still want Kivy gone, or is he starting to come around? Merry Christmas, guys. I mean, like I said, if he keeps shooting 20%, he's the best player on the planet. So play him more if he's going to keep shooting at that rate. I think we had one other super chat as well. $20 from Bob, who says, appreciate you guys. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Bob. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's all of our super chats. We do appreciate you guys as well. We are going to wrap this one up. A ton of you in here. Appreciate that. We are off for the holiday. We'll be off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but we will be back Thursday, the day after Christmas. So you can find our podcast there. We'll have plenty of content for you tomorrow, even if Bednar is right and none of you are reading our stuff for the holidays. We'll still have videos and AJ's pieces up for you tomorrow. So
That was
make sure
you roasted them.
Yeah, lit them up good. We appreciate y'all. If you celebrate the holidays, then happy holidays. If you don't, I hope you get some time off, or at very least have a good week. So we appreciate y'all, and we will catch you on Thursday, I guess.
We all silly like the mayor.